Hey guys, and welcome to Little Blackbird 91. We are talking to you guys about Ultimatum, episode 6 to to episode 6 to episode 9. I managed to watch them over the weekend, and I also watched the reunion. So we'll do a separate video for the reunion. But we're going to talk about Ultimatum episode 6 to 9. If you want to put spoilers in the chat, you can do. We've watched all the episodes now. I'm sure you want to feel more free. But this, we're just talking specifically about episodes 6 and 9. We'll talk specifically about reunion on another live. But I wanted to break down this particular set of episodes because there was too much that was going on that were just blowing my mind. Blowing my mind. Blowing my mind. Listen, let's get into the video. But before we do, if you're new to this channel and listen, you want to jump aboard, please like it, share, subscribe, click on the bell button for notification. They're up loads. And for those of you who are returnees, you already know what it is, baby. You got the minerals, baby. You got the minerals. You got the minerals. Stay hydrated because the streets, they're hot out there, baby. All right. So listen, we're going to talk a little bit about Ultimatum episode 6 to 9. Yes, episode 6 to 9. I said 6 to 9 or 7 to 9 even, because obviously we watched episode 6, didn't we? So it's actually episode 7 to 9. So these episodes were really interesting. Okay, really interesting. And I'll tell you why they were interesting. I want to get my notes up and bring to you, because some of the stuff that I saw first and foremost was mad. Jake and April, what are we doing going through someone's phone, baby? Why are we going through someone's phone? Like, why are we doing that? Why are we doing going through someone's phone, baby? Okay, we're leaving ourselves in a very precarious position when we do that. Then we had Shanique and Randall. Do you know what? Let me not say too tough, because as far as I'm concerned, if you find out your partner didn't do bits and you did bits, we're in trouble already. All right. And I don't want to spoil it. If anyone hasn't watched the reunion, I don't want to spoil it myself, but it was evident for me that things were not going to go the way they was meant to go. Right? Like, it was evident for me that things were not going to go the way it was meant to go when someone decides to do bits and the other person didn't do bits, especially when that person did bits in response to the fact that they thought you did bits. Of course, you know. So I had a feeling it wouldn't go the way that some people wanted it to go in their relationship. Just saying, it's it's a lot right now. I also want to say, that in regards to the other couple, Colby and Madeline, I want to break them down properly. So I don't want to say too much, but can I just say this, right? Colby and Madeline, I don't like to say but for me, from my perspective, this is my perspective. I feel like Colby abuser vibes. And I'm going to tell you why. The way he rushed into having the wedding the same day was exactly what I thought it was. Right? Him rushing Madeline's decision to get married on the same day, I knew was an act of the abuser, right? That speed where you don't have time to think is precisely what abusers do. Let me not go too deep. Let me not go too deep. I'm going ahead of myself. Let me move in tandem and time. Then obviously we had Jake and we had Ray and we had Zay. Now, from beforehand, when I watched it, I said I had a feeling that Zay was some type of way, right? That the Zay situation with Ray was awk. But then to see the fact that when she was trying to leave the house, he didn't want her to leave the house. He was physically restraining her. And then she ends up hitting him, right? Is precisely why they shouldn't be together, right? Now, first and foremost, nobody should be hitting anybody. I don't condone violence at all. But I actually understood. If I'm trying to leave the yard and I'm telling you I want to leave the yard and you stop me from leaving the yard consistently, What do you think is going to happen? She's got to try and get out somehow. So I didn't have a problem. Um, so yeah. So for me, I could understand that, but he didn't want her to leave the yard. But when it was your turn, you were leaving the yard. You left her 8. You know what I mean? But we're gonna discuss a lot of these stuff. We're gonna discuss a lot of this stuff. But let's get first and foremost into it. Let's get into Jake, Ray, and April. Um, let's get into it. Let's talk about it, right? So let's talk about this. So, um, woo, Chile. So Jake, Ray, and April. The situation here: April went through Jake's phone, found videos of him filming with with Ray, and in the Ray situation, he really did like Ray. I think he really found someone who understood him, who liked him for him, who didn't try to push him, didn't force nothing, and it worked, right? Unfortunately, when he went back to April, the thoughts of what his mum had said, because the mum was bare forcing it. The mum was forcing it. Oh my days. This is what I'm talking about. Parents not intruding on their kids' decision. Stop forcing your kids to make these type of decisions. The mum was so much in favor of April. She was basically forcing her boy to think about April without really considering, does my son actually want her anymore? Does my son fully want her? And here's my biggest thing. How much has he told you? He says he talks to his mom about everything in that relationship. Well, if he told you everything, why the frick is you still supporting April? If he told you everything, it sounded like you weren't too happy anyway, right? It sounded like Jake wasn't too happy anyway. So why was the mom so in full force of April unless she saw herself in April? And this is the issue with people trying to when people start projecting themselves into others. You saw you saw yourself in April, because when you're listening to your boy Jake and he's saying what he's saying, you telling me you supporting April after that? You telling me you pushing your son to try and beat April? Like that's the best choice. And here's another thing. When the mom did try to bring up Ray, what did April do immediately? Oh, we don't have to talk about Ray around here, right? Oh, we don't have to talk about Ray around here. Wow, we don't have to talk about Ray. Babe, we need to. She told us everything we need to know. Ray was nice. Ray was nice. Yeah, Ray's nice. So in that case, what I started to see was that Jake has an inability to say no as well. He's got a problem with boundaries. Okay, and he stayed with April in those midst of those moment. All right, um, she wanted he wanted someone who could love and be in tandem with, be in partnership with. But the mum wanted somebody, and I love this comment. Someone put it there, right? The mum was looking for someone to keep her son in line because her son was acting like her husband. And this is what I keep saying to people: stop making your sons your husbands. They're not your husband. They're not your ex-husband. They're not your ex-partner. They ain't those things. Okay. So when you start making decisions based upon the fact that what you dealt with, now you push it onto your son, we don't need that. We don't need it. He doesn't need to be kept in line. All right. She don't need it. Uh, you know, uh, it's crazy. I just think to myself, that she was so focused on April, she kind of forgot about what Jake really needed. It should have been a simple question of, Jake, what do you think you need? What do you think is working best for you? You brought Ray. I can see maybe why you like Ray. I can see why also you like April. What is it you actually need? We didn't get to see that much of that conversation. What we did hear was her thoughts and what she thought needed to happen. And I was like, oh. And I was asking myself, is Jake telling his mom everything really like he said he is? Or is he holding back certain information? But yeah, so the going through the phone situation was just mad. It broke his trust. And here's the funny thing as well: when people get a taste of something different, the energy shifts. Did you see the way that he flipped when she went through his phone? Not saying that you wouldn't get annoyed, but the energy shifted because he had tasted something else. And so his reaction was more wilder. Like, Joe, I can't take this, man. This is why I don't need to be here. This is why I don't need to be in this relationship, because I saw better than this. I saw the light. I saw something much nicer than this. Why am I here again? Why am I experiencing this again? But lo and behold, Jake fell back into the routine, having sex, right? Having sex, getting back into the routine of a relationship with April without fully really talking about what he felt, right? Without really telling, uh, what he felt, right? So they're having now these mad arguments, and they kept on having arguments over the course of the 3 weeks that they had. So much so that April felt like she knew that Jake was gone. She knew that Jake wasn't there anymore for her, right? Which is interesting because you knew that, but you wanted to still pursue. And I think she still wanted to have the idea that he would maybe come around, maybe he would fall back in line, maybe he would fall back in love with her. But the truth of the matter is, old boy's head was gone, because she had mistreated him for so long. When he finally got someone who treated him right, he realized, I needed better than this, right? He needed better than that. So I can understand that. Then the whole situation with the whole pregnancy thing. She thought she was pregnant because she had missed her period or whatever, but due to her hormones, which is why I did feel sorry for her, because she did say about the infertility issues, that she did have those infertility issues. And I get it. It's not easy. You know, I get it. It was painful to kind of see, painful to kind of go through, painful to experience. But you know what, she wanted to quickly say she was pregnant, and I was like, I could be pregnant. I was like, baby, I need you to why don't you take a test before you came out and said those bars? If you know you've missed you've missed your period a few times, my friend, please, can we go and get a pregnancy test? We should know. We don't have to blurt out things like that. Go and get a pregnancy test, right? Quickly, rather than coming out with that information to the girls, almost trying to cop block the fact that April was that Ray, what they told Ray to go after what she wanted. That's what it felt like. It's like, so because they told Ray to go after what you wanted, now you drop in the whole, I could be pregnant. I could be pregnant. Like, yo, man, look, go and get a pregnancy test. It's not long. That's all you needed to go and do. And then you won't have to speak prematurely about whether you think you are pregnant or not. The issue was you didn't want to do that. You wanted to leave it out in the open. And maybe you did know that you weren't pregnant, but you decided to use that moment as a way to kind of talk, and say your piece, and let Ray know, oh, it could be me and him, still having sex. We're still doing what we're doing. It's gonna be lonely this Christmas without you to hold. And you know what? It's interesting because she kept on saying, I want to show him, uh, I want to show him, I want to show Jake that the patient me that was with Colby for 3 weeks. Babe, if the patient you was there, you wouldn't be making such declarations that I am that psycho B. I am that psycho B. Babe, that worked previously. It no longer works. She hadn't really changed yet. Well, at least it hadn't sunken in yet. The change that she said she wanted to show old boy Jake hadn't sunken in yet. It hadn't sunken in. And so that's why Jake never got any of the changed April that she was saying she was, because it hadn't sunken in yet. You did it for 3 weeks, but it takes longer for these behaviors to kind of change. You might have understood a few things, but to remember your old feelings, your emotions from the past are going to be drugged up. And how would you respond to that? It's never easy to change those particular feelings and thoughts when you had a history with that person. And besides that, you felt like you might have been losing him too. You weren't banking on that. Right. So I can understand her wanting to show him that, but I don't think she really changed, at that point. I don't think she fully changed. And I think that it was unfortunate. It was very unfortunate. You still that psycho. I'm like, yo, like, what? It was babe, I need you to relax. You still that psycho B? Like, that's not cute, and that's not what he wants. Don't you understand? That's not what he wants. That's not what he likes. I got what you want. I got what you need. Come on, take a shot. This time I'll make you hot. Yeah. All right, cool. And so if you don't know already, because we're on episode 9, Jake decided not to choose April and chose Ray. Now, this was a spinner, and this was really interesting because I know why Jake chose Ray. He was tired of April. He never wanted to come on the show. He was waiting to go forward with April. And had it not been for the show, he might have continued to suffer. The show opened his eyes to the possibilities of something better. A lot of people are in a situation where they need a revelation of something better to be able to do better. And he got that revelation. And Ray was a part of that revelation. So I love the fact that um I love the fact that it was dragged onto the show, dragged onto the show. I love the fact that obviously, when he went to speak with Ray, he said, "Look, I'm not trying to marry you, but you know what? Let's go somewhere. Let's go and have a holiday, etc." And I wish they did. I wish they did. I don't want to go too much because that's a reunion, but I wish they did because I think Ray needed it. But Ray didn't end up going in the end. And that's part of reunion talk. I'm talking there. So sorry if you haven't seen it. But she didn't go in the end. But I love the fact that, he ended up choosing Ray because what it was, Ray's a bigger decision than just choosing Ray. Ray is also about choosing better, seeing better, doing better, choosing to do better, right? Making your effective choice one that benefits you and not at your detriment, which is where we found Jake being with April. April was a volatile, toxic, I'm in your face, I'm a bit to be moved mad energy. And Jake had enough. And Jake was basically saying no to his mum, no to other people around, no to what other people's thoughts were, and basically said, I need to choose what I need to do. Right? So Jake decided, I'm going to do better. April was his past. April was the old me. And a lot of us are in these situations where we don't have very good boundaries. We don't know how to say no. We don't know how to really, really, really express what we actually want. And so choosing Ray was actually choosing what I want. Choosing Ray was actually choosing what I want in my life. And that's okay. Now, it didn't work out. It's unfortunate, but that's okay. All right. That's okay. So yeah, Jake and Ray and April. I mean, it was problematic. It was unfortunate. But he needed to choose choose Ray because it was about the betterment of himself. All right, cool. Let's talk. Obviously. Let's talk Zay and Ray because boy, boy, Ray and Zay. You know what? Oh man, problematic. Problematic. You know. So Zay wanted to be married to Zay, right? Zay wanted to be married to Ray. Okay. And they had this really big conversation in the bedroom. Okay. The conversation surrounded around Ray saying, I don't want to be pushed. I don't want to be pushed too quickly. I want to move at my own pace, basically. Right. And she said, I don't mind being vulnerable, but I don't want to be pushed to be vulnerable. At first, I always said that Ray was holding back. And exactly, she was holding back in some sense or form. But Zay never helped. Zay never offered that safe space. And whenever there was a conversation, Zay has a habit of turning everything into an argument. The moment he senses that you're leaving him, the moment he senses that there's any kind of distance happening, that's when Zay turns on the argument, right? It is interesting to watch them that in relationship, this is what happens. People get exposed and their vulnerabilities are exposed and their wounds are exposed. And that's when the real people come out. Now, when Zay was talking to Ray in the bedroom, he was crying, not crying. He was kind of saying, I've been trying it your way to try and create a safe space. I've been trying to communicate the way you asked me to. But emotionally, Ray wasn't there. The truth of the matter is, Ray had also seen better, dealt with better, had better, and didn't know how to exit from Zay. In fact, she's been feeling like this for a very long time, but Ray came into another situation with another gentleman called Jake, and that solidified what she already knew as the truth. Her and Zay were never going to work. And the reason why she has stayed so long with Zay is because there was a part of her, all right? There's a part of her that liked the safety of having somebody that wants you, desires you, cares for you, and likes you. The issue also with Ray is she communicates a lot of times through sex, and a lot of her issues have not been dealt with, but she communicates through sensuality and sexuality because that's a cover-up for her ability to be able to communicate her actual emotions and feelings. There was no safe space, yes, but she doesn't communicate emotions very well in the first place. So it takes a very special person, someone like Jake, to be able to do that for her, right? So I too, yes, orangutan. I too felt like I didn't understand the inability to be able to express herself until we got to later on. That again is not the full excuse for Ray. Ray just doesn't do emotions. It's that's it. It's not just he's explosive, but that's also part of it. She just doesn't communicate very well her emotions. Right? Honest truth. So she also got work to do, but I saw when they interacted why she couldn't be more open and honest with him, right? And then the whole situation where she wanted to leave, and then he stopped her from leaving. I was like, bro, like, why are you trying to stop her from leaving? And I realized why. Because you feel like she might do something, right? He felt like she might do something. And again, when you've got a guilty mind too, this will also impact how you behave. Zay had a guilty mind. As we found out from a reunion, Zay had an absolute guilty mind. And because of the guilty mind, it made him mistrust. And even in that moment where she's saying, let me go, I just want to go, I just want to leave the house, I could tell, right? I could tell, right? That this is getting toxic and this is getting problematic. Okay. And it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate to see. It's unfortunate to witness. Okay. But we had been seeing Zay continually grow in the way he's moving mad. For instance, the way he acted with the mother, the argument that they had. I was like, bro, like, you having an argument with the mother about the situation where they're explaining to you how Ray's not comfortable. And I realized he doesn't listen very well. Whenever it's about something else that's emotional, he's not listening very well. He's not hearing very well. He's not deep in it and being emotionally intelligent. And so what's happening is he's missing the woman in front of him. And it's like, yo, bro, like, bro, you're not deep in it. That your girl here is telling you X, Y, and Z, and you don't deep it. You can't deep it. The tools are not there. It's unfortunate. So yeah, someone said obviously I doubt it's the first time they've been physical with each other. Probably, yeah, you're right. It probably is. It's probably not the first time. It's too comfortable. It's a lot. It's a lot, really. It's a lot. Nobody wants to see that. That's a volatile part of your relationship, which comes from an inability to express oneself. When people are failing to express themselves, physicality usually happens. Because the frustration and the anger people feel spills over. When you aren't able to express yourself, you have to be very, very careful. You should really mute. Take your time. Find the words to want to speak, then communicate. If you try and push it in that moment when you can't find the words, the frustration, the anger spills over. You get stupid moments like what Zay and Ray had, right? So they've had a good run, but it's time to end it right there. They've had a good run, but it's time to end it right there. There's no need to go any further, right? No need to go any further than they've gone already, because unfortunately, they are not good for one another. It leads to them fighting in this way. They're going to hurt one another. Do you know what I mean? They're going to hurt each other in the end. Yeah, so let's talk a little bit about then Zay. I hear you on this. Like, honestly, I would not be cool either. I'll be honest with you, I would not be cool. If I had a girlfriend that spoke the way Zay spoke, I'll be looking at her like, are you dumb? Are you all right? And if I spoke like that, I expect you to look at me, am I dumb? Because the mom didn't come at him. If the mom came at him, I'd maybe like, okay, I get it. The mom didn't even come at him. The mom was trying to understand. The mom was even trying to broker peace. And his problem is whenever someone doesn't understand what he's saying, or when someone doesn't agree with what he's saying, he feels like it's going to end in a way that the person's going to leave or there's abandonment. And so he naturally starts fighting. But you're fighting with somebody who was trying to broker peace, who was trying to make you understand, right? It's problematic. Yep, we know. He said that. But unfortunately, that is only the reason why he does what he does. It's not an excuse. We can give you a reason, as in we know why you do what you do, but there's no excuse, right? So, if you want to be able to, if you want to be able to, to talk about the fact you have a past and your parents weren't there, you never grew up with a family. I'm with you. I'm down with you. I have no problem with you explaining. I have no problem with you explaining how you feel, and why you do what you do, but we can't excuse you. So we definitely know why, because of what he experienced. That's why I was okay with him explaining it to Shanique. But then you have to hold yourself accountable. And that's the problem with him. He doesn't hold himself accountable. You see, if do you know what? I do this because my family, I never had one, and I don't deep it like that. What the frick is that? Oh, it's a wood lice. And if you don't deep it like that, that's fine. That's cool. But then you got to hold yourself accountable, right? Like, you hold yourself accountable. If you know that you behave this way because you don't have parents, and you're good enough to know I must be held accountable, and say, do you know what? It's no excuse, but now I understand why I do what I do. And now I understand why I think the way I think, right? Do you know what I'm saying? Because what you can't do is be like, oh, you know, my parents weren't there. And so, that's why I'm doing. Yeah, but then are you holding yourself accountable? Right? Are you holding yourself accountable? Are you now saying, do you know what? I need to find a way to work on this. That's what I need to be hearing, because I'm not hearing that. If I don't hear that, then I'm asking the question, are you really changing? Are you really deepening? Because then it becomes a crutch. Then it becomes a crutch. That's it. Look, Ray's dad could not stand say, and that's what I'm trying to say to you. The dad, that's why the dad loved Jake so much. The dad loved Jake with passion. When he saw Jake, he was so happy, right? He was so happy when he saw Jake, because he said, this is a son who I could be proud of. This is a son who I could like. And at first, I didn't get it until we watched the whole show. Then I was like, oh, I get it now. Sorry, I get it now, right? Because the way you behave, I can see that you're much more calmer influence. Ray's more calmer. Ray's got a more different energy with me. But with Zay, the energy's out. You know? Say like the energy's moving a bit mad. So I get it. I get it. I get it. Um, you know, and true FB, yeah, I don't think he knows himself at this moment in time. Once he gets there, he will be all right. I mean, because even in the reunion, I don't want to go too deep again. That wasn't accountable, and he was still trying to mash up people. He was still trying to mash up Ray. It's like, bro, I need you to think. I need you now to stop using family as a crutch, because your behavior is moving mad and your behavior is deplorable now. You know what I'm saying? Oh, someone said, and Zay's bottoms do hang off the bottom and it's not cute. I hear you on that. I hear you on that. You know what I mean? And this is it. You know, again, and this is a key point too. And Zay had many instances where he had to get physical with people, right? Okay, I hear that. So that's not even what I was looking at. He's probably loose with his mouth in front of dad, and probably is, because if he was that loose with the mother, oh, why would he not be that loose with the dad? Why would he not? If he was that loose with Ray's mother, why would he not be loose with the father? You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I can imagine why, You know what? The father was so happy to see Jake. You know, it is what it is. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, and this is what I'm saying. Like, some people don't realize, and you instinctively know a lot of times when you date somebody, I can't bring this person to my mother or father. Then you shouldn't. Then know this: you ain't getting married to them. You shouldn't get married to them. If you know, and I'm talking about genuine parents, not parents you know who are volatile and mad. But if you got genuine parents and you know you can't bring that man or that girl to your parents, guess what? They're not the ones you should be marrying. I'll say it again for you. If you've got genuine good parents and you can't bring your partner to your parents, or you don't like bringing your partner to your parents, then are they really the one that you really want to be marrying? You know, that's my thoughts. You know that I'm not wigging it down with him. Do you know what I mean? Like you can't be doing what he was doing. It's not applicable. You know. Let's talk a little bit about Zay. No, let's talk about Randall. No, Colby and Madeline, because whew, I mean, what a episode for them. I mean, I am bemused. I am confused with Colby and Madeline. Okay, I'm gonna say this again. With Colby and Madeline, the truth of the matter is, and what I see is, Colby has manipulated Madeline to a point where she doesn't even know her own mind, where she doesn't realize that she's stuck in the matrix, right? Madeline is stuck in the matrix, right? Let's take episode 7, for instance, right? Here's the thing. Madeline is they're having a group date or whatever, and Colby throws a grape into April's mouth. And then Madeline's like, don't play my game with April. And I'm like, and then Colby's like, oh, I love when you go after him, you know, when you're stern basically and letting me know what you want. I was like, oh, I said at that point I realized, Madeline, you got Stockholm syndrome. Yeah, you got Stockholm syndrome, right? And what you don't realize is he has manipulated you into a place where you're not even fighting for him when there's no need to fight for him. Where you're fighting for something where you don't even realize you don't need to fight for it. You fighting over him throwing a grape into April's mouth lets me know how deep the manipulation you suffered has taken you, right? And the consistent, um, the consistent ability to deflect, gaslight, pretend, deflect was outstanding, right? And the fact that she easily succumbed to how great Colby is because he said one thing about the fact that, oh, you know, I noticed that you don't really something about emotions or something about talking or whatever, but because of your parents. And she's like, oh my gosh, you finally understood. What? It was one comment. One comment. And sis, you already falling? Talk about how he knows you and how he's trying to understand you. That was one comment, sis. How easy is it to attain you with that one comment? Right? This is somebody who has, I believe, some narcissistic tendency. I rarely say this, and you guys know I don't like saying the narcissist word, but I think he's got not. I think he on that scale, because even when he's with other women, he tries to take credit for anything they do. Oh, when it was Lauren, oh, do you know what? You know, I made her, you know, come to a conversation about kids, and I'll help you get there. Oh, you know, with April, she, you know, I helped her become the woman that she's becoming. Same with Madeline. The energy of this guy is narcissistic. It's just, let's be honest. I rarely, you guys know, I don't even like saying that word. I don't like saying the N word. I'm very rare about it. But this is one of them, right? This is not him just being a player. This isn't just him trying to cheat and get one up on her and deflecting. Those things are not narcissistical. Those are just men failing to take accountability and not wanting to get caught and lying to the hilltop. Those are not narcissistic behaviors. People, please, people, look, your man cheating on you or your man cheating on your friend and lying to the to the cows come home. It's not narcissistic. It's just a man trying to avoid accountability. This is narcissism, what we're looking at. The gaslighting, the lying, the pretending, the deflecting, the purposely trying to make the person feel crazy, the ups and the ups and the downs, the very careful traumatic cycles that keep happening. Those are narcissistic tendencies, right? Those are. The brother's been saying from the very beginning, you know what? It won't take long before she's pregnant when they get married. He wanted her pregnant from early. And the fact that she got pregnant so quickly and then he married her so quickly, we have problems. We have problems. You got somebody so deluded that they're telling you on more than one occasion in front of your friends, then in front of with you solo, and then in front of your friends, telling you, I actually went out of the process with other women just for you. You want to know what narcissism is? That's what you're looking at. Not that stuff that someone doesn't know how to admit they're necessarily wrong per se, although that's included, which he didn't know how to admit he was wrong too. That is what we're talking about narcissism. The brother is the type to tell you, I went out the process. I actually started getting with other women outside of the process for you. I did it for your benefit. And Madeline can't deep that I should not marry this type of person because what they're saying is mad. But she did deep it. She went with her friends, and her friends told her, don't go with this person. Don't go for this person. He's so narcissistic. He brought you onto a show and was confident. Now I know why he was so confident at the dinner table in episode 7, I think, or 6, where he said to Randall, are you sure are you sure you're confident about your decision about her? Are you sure you can handle her mouth? The reason why I can say are you confident about her? It's because he was confident enough to know what kind of manipulation he had this woman under. Right? Each time she starts talking to him, she starts relaying information, letting us know, hey, look, you're not hearing me, you're not seeing me, you're twisting information. Your friends are now telling you as well, Madeline, that it's mad. Now I get why the friends wanted Randall so much. Here's me thinking that the friends just wanted Randall because he's good looking. No, they wanted her to get out. He wanted her to get out. Right? He wanted her to get out. And that is problematic. Your friends are telling you. There was another clue to the madness, if you guys picked it up. Another clue to his to the madness or narcissistic behavior, want to call it that, of love bombing, right? Was with the mother. Anybody hear the story of the mother? The mother told her, look, in the very beginning, the first time I ever met him, it was like he sat next to me. It was like he worshipped the ground that I walk on. The next 2 times we met him, he didn't speak, he didn't talk, he didn't interact. That is your signal and sign that you're dealing with somebody who's doing ups and downs. Right? Your mother experienced part of what you're experiencing. The very beginning, he said he worshipped the ground the mother walked on. After that, then the real Colby set in. Right? So I'm telling you now that look at this. This is what we talk about narcissism. This is what we're looking at. This is what we need to be looking at narcissism wise. Right? These little signals that we're seeing. Let me look at my notes. Anyway, let me look off my notes. The whole behaving, everything is normal, trying to project that their whole relationship is perfect. He is going to make sure that you are crazy before you finish. Right? He says, oh, She's now questioning herself. Listen, don't get it twisted. Don't get it twisted, right? Of course. Of course. Madeline has got a critical side of her. Of course. Yeah. But he now had you in a point where you're questioning why am I so critical? Why am I so critical? You know? And then he answers by saying, do you think it's your family? That's why you're so critical? And she feels like, oh my God, you understand me. You hear me. You understand. Nah. Sis, that ain't it. That ain't it, Chief. That ain't it. That ain't it, Chief. That ain't it. That ain't it. That is not it. It's Madeline's got an issue because I think she has whatever her issue is, a feeling of nobody being there for her. I think Colby represents consistency, a consistency of desire, of somebody wanting her. Hence why sexually, when she took a big issue with Randall not having sex with her, because it was rejection all the way, because maybe a lot of her language of what she's expressed in terms of how she puts herself out there has been sensually and sexually, and when rejected in that manner, it was a rejection of her whole self. And again, that would issue the fact that there's an imbalance in your intimacies. There's an imbalance in the way you present yourself because of what you've experienced in your past, whether it's dad issues, mom issues, whether it's how you're reared, whatever. But it's contributed towards her now trying to lead the conversation with her sexual stuff. And when she got rejected, that's why she took the issue. That's why she took issue with Randall the way she did. Yeah, her parents were divorced recently as well. Recently, they were divorced. So it's a big issue for Madeline, it's off. Yeah, it's problematic, man. It's problematic in that sense. She said, oh, she loves the passion. He loves his passion for her, and she loves that energy that he brings. Now, hey, let me be very frank with you. Look, passion is good. Energy is good. We don't have a problem with passion and energy. The only issue is the lack of accountability consistently. I want to say it again, people, let's stop dating people that have a lack of accountability. I don't want you to date people that are lacking accountability. Right? Lacking accountability. I don't want to hear those things. Why are we in positions where people are lacking accountability, please? Talk to me. Right? You don't want to be in a position where someone doesn't know how to take accountable for their actions and then actually flips it onto you. Do you know how mad that is? They do the wrong, they even deny it, and then flip it onto you. It's a sad world we live in, baby. It's a sad world we live in. I'm telling you now, it's sad, baby. All right, cool. So then obviously the issue that I have now then obviously was the wedding time, right? Why the heck that he had an officiator ready to marry her? Right? Having the officiator there meant she had no real choice, or felt like she had no real choice to say yes, to say no. Will you marry me right? Would you marry me right now? He had to say it a few times. If you watch it again, he said it a few times, and she's speechless at first, and then yes, 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 yes. Why? Because sis don't really know her own strength and her own boundaries. She's caught up in a narcissistic storm. She had no real support. Even if she did, she probably would have ended up getting married later on. This is a lesson you must learn. This is a lesson Madeline must learn. Some people need to learn certain lessons by themselves. They need to grasp it, deep it, understand it themselves. Because until they do, they'll continue making these type of mistakes. She needs to deep that she made this mistake herself. She can blame him and say he's narcissistic, he love bombed me, all that kind of stuff. But she's gonna have to take responsibility for missing those signs, right? She's gonna have to take responsibility for missing those signs and ignoring it. We know that he's being manipulative, and we know he is intentionally setting her up and making the wedding happen quickly, right? But she's gonna have to look back on it and be like, I made a mistake. Now, of course, the child being involved because she's pregnant. By the way, if you guys didn't know, she's pregnant. I'm gonna spoil it that way just because it makes it a little bit of context. She pregnant, and she far gone. She far gone. So whether that was a yes to like because she also was pregnant, she wanted a family, whichever, it doesn't matter. Because when you see a situation where the person is unaccountable, telling lies, flipping it onto you, you don't want to be in that relationship. Look, having a kid is one of the strongest ways for someone to manipulate you too. Because having a child, it's not like getting married. Marriage is still a strong thing, but having a child is a lifelong commitment where you are stuck now with that person forevermore. And that is what Colby has done to her. By her now having a child with him, forevermore, she must deal with this man. And him being narcissistic, meaning that you will forever be battling an uphill struggle with this young man. Even if you get away, you still have a dad that's moving mad. And the difficulty behind that is how much should I allow my child to know? How much should I allow my child to now meet her father, his or her father, when we know he's narcissistic? Right? How much? Parenting solo is difficult enough without now adding this aspect to it. So I'm a little bit bemused. I'm like, yo, brethren, this is a madness. Um, I'm, yeah, it's sad to see. It's sad to see because she's gonna have to deal with this person forever. Um, and that's difficult, you know. So yeah, she gonna have to look back on this maybe in 5 years' time, maybe 6, maybe a year's time. We don't know how long the spell will last. And when it finally breaks, she'll have to look back at those signs and say, let me take accountability. Let me see what signs I missed and why did I miss them so that I can bring change to my life. That's honest truth. Madeline said she weren't going to be ready. She said at the end of the show, I'm definitely not going to be ready. By the end of the show, by the beginning of the show, Madeline said, I'm not going to be ready. I'm not going to be ready. But then by the end of the show, you're pregnant. And now you're married. And that's how quickly life can change. But if you don't take stock of your life and take accountability, you'll always be in situations like this, man. You know? It's a shame. It's a shame. All right, cool. Let's get on to Shanique and Randall. Because boy, let me tell you something. Shanique and Randall. I don't want to spoil it. I want to wait till we do our live on the reunion, but let me just do this. Shanika Randall. Now, here's my thing. They both got problems, right? Shanika and Randall, in terms of wanting to be right. Okay. In terms of wanting to be right in terms of wanting to control the narrative. Both Randall and Shanique both have that. Okay. Now, Shanique wanted to know about Randall's experience and he was kind of avoiding the question. But I noticed that Shanique asks questions that set you up. What can Madeline work on? What the frick are we asking what Madeline can work on? Why the frick, Shanique, are we asking Randall, right? Why are we asking Randall what Madeline can work on? What kind of question is that, Shanique? Why are we asking such questions and then getting vexed that he's not answering? I'm so confused. And on top of that, they went to her parents' house and they went to her parents' house. Love that point, Jasmine. Good point. Good point. Good point. They went to her parents' house, right? And here's my thing. I get it. I know why the parents were asking, saying, why haven't you married Shanique yet? It's 2 years, blah, 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 right? But my thing is, hold on a minute. There was a joke that the parents made, right? About, Zay is tall. Zay is a nice guy. Da, 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 da. Why are we joking about that? I was mad confused. I was like, wait, the parents are making jokes with the man that's in the situation now. Oh, I would have been pissed. I'd have been seething. Why are we making jokes about how the other man is better than me in this situation? Why? Have I been disrespectful to you before? Have I been rude to you before? Like, why am I being hit with jokes like that? I just thought to myself, wait, why are the parents doing that? Like, why the family doing that? Like, what? I was like, that's a bit much. So yeah, I saw that and I was like, all right, cool. But then obviously, they have that conversation. Exactly. And that's what I realized. Your family's complicit in your bad behavior. Yeah, you're complicit in your bad behavior. I would never listen. I'm not ever listen. If my sister was in a situation, I'm not trying to get her old man to be jealous of the new man. No, that's not going to make you marry her. That's not going to make you marry her, right? That's not going to make you marry her. So, as far as I'm concerned, me trying to make you jealous, it's not going to make you marry her. Do you see what I'm saying? If anything, all I need to know is what information you have. But your family are getting involved in making jokes about the new guy coming. Like, he taller than you. What the frick? What's going on? What is going on? What is going on? What is going on? Because this is madness. It's a lot of madness I'm hearing, fam. Do you know what I'm saying? Sherry said, why wouldn't they? They probably know he conducts himself with Madeline. But what did he do with Madeline? What did he do with Madeline? He didn't do anything that he wasn't supposed to do, number one. Number two, he was respectful enough not to even sleep with her. Now, whether you think he's gay or not, it's up to you guys. But he was respectful enough not to sleep with her. There was one kiss. Yeah, he had a kiss. Right? Of course, he had a kiss. But Shanique was already moving mad before then. I told you this. Shanique was already trying to move mad. She just needed an excuse to move mad. She didn't react because she reacted, yes, partly because Randall kissed Madeline. But there was another aspect, which is she was making jokes about I sleep naked, I walk naked, I eat naked, saying all those bars to Zay well before the kiss happened with Randall and Madeline. And he didn't bring himself on the show. She brought him. So you don't get to complain how he's now moving in the process. Right? You don't get to complain how you move in the process. And so, yes, the apple didn't fall far from the tree. That's when I noticed. I said, oh, they taught you how to be this petty. Oh, right? I'm not saying the family's bad, by the way. We're talking about a trait. I'm not saying the family's bad. Doesn't mean they're a bad family or they're bad parents. Nope. Always the saying is this is one trait that we saw in Shanique, and we know where he got it from. We know where she got it from, right? Um, you know, it was yeah. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Shanique assumed a lot from what happened with what Madeline was saying. She was scared of Madeline's intensity for Randall without really having that conversation. Now, here's my thing again for these two. Their conversation, right? Randall and Shanique. I when they were talking, Shanique again showed an immature side, right? Love that, Coco. Yeah, I believe so as well. What was interesting was when they were conversating about the Madeline situation, right? And what she said at the end of it was, F the ring, F the ring, F the ring, F the ring. And he said, listen, we're still talking. Why are you walking away? And then, F this ring, F this ring. And that's when I realized Shanique is not emotionally mature. Listen, she thought, listen, she's not as bad as Zay, but you thought she doing what Zay was doing. They're very, you know what I'm saying? Like when Zay be walking out because he doesn't agree, someone doesn't agree with his point of view, she was too walking out. And it's not the first time. That was not the first time. We saw a little bit of that when they were talking at the dinner table halfway through the episodes, when he was talking and she walked out and they were talking outside and she was behaving the exact same way. Well, why don't you go with Madeline then? Why don't you go and kiss Madeline then? Same thing again. And then when Madeline, and then later on in the bedroom, she just F that ring then. Okay, F that ring. I was like, oh, okay. You know? Okay. I hear you. I hear you. Sis, you're struggling to control your emotions. It's causing problems. All right. Now, what the mum did say, I would be beneficial. She thought Randall balances Shanique out. No, what Randall is doing is becoming a buffer for her madness. Right? Shanique with Randall is a buffer and a wall for her madness. Right? When Shanique gets emotionally unstable and immature, I should say, even, right? What Randall's passivity does, his calmness does, is it doesn't allow for an explosive relationship. If he was just as volatile as she was, this would be a Zay and Ray situation. This would be a volatile relationship, right? It'll be a very volatile relationship, but he's not. So it isn't that way, right? She's in the same category as Zay, but because of her partner, it doesn't allow for that to be shown. I said it beforehand, right? I said it beforehand. Unfortunately, we saw Shanique's behavior with Zay. One scene, I said, when Zay and her were arguing the very first time on their particular 3 weeks, what happened was that Zay came back and apologized. And I asked, I said, wait, did Shanique ever apologize? Right? Did they ever apologize? And she never did. And I said, you got to watch that. When someone doesn't want to apologize, when they're contributing towards a madness, you got to be very careful of those people. They always think they're right. And that energy shifted onto when her and Randall were coming back together again, that she always had to be right. And unfortunately, that grinds people down, man. That perfectionist spirit, as our sister said earlier on, it grinds people down. It's unfortunate, but it grinds people down. Right? She said, oh, I didn't think my relationship with Zay would affect you. And then look, let me tell you something, right? Let me tell you something. Shanique situation, she came back to Randall stronger because she realized it's cold out there. She realized after dealing with Zay, yo, there's some wildness out there. Let me head back to let me head back humbly, right? Let me head back humbly back to my boy Randall. Oh, there's madness on this side, but the madness out there, oh no, baby. Uh, you know, no. Let's not, baby. Let's not. Okay, let's not. Um, so it's interesting to see that because she really realized in that moment there is more madness out there than there is in my relationship. Let me chill. Let me chill. Let me be calm. Because the madness I'm seeing out there in them streets. Oh no, baby. No, baby. I got to stay where I got to stay. I got to be what I got to be. I got to be my element. Oh, please, baby. Right? Nah, man. Um, we cool. We cool. We cool. We cool. We can't be moving mad like that. Do you know what I'm saying? And I understand. Shanique learned her lesson. Um, and I think there was just a lot of stuff going on between. I think also with Shanique and Randall as well. Um, it, these two, unfortunately, have probably met at the wrong time. Had they met maybe a little bit later on in life, this could have been good, right? Had they met later on in life, maybe this could have been cool, right? Well, let me even address this. About Madeline. I get it. Yes, Madeline was moving mad. Yes, Madeline was moving mad. Okay. All right. Madeline was doing psychological warfare. Madeline was trying to get Randall to move. Madeline was trying to get Shanique to react. And she did because Shanice did react. Shanique did react. Now, Randall wasn't all the way clean about why he was kissing old girl off screen, but she got the reaction that she wanted, Madeline. She set up Shanique so nicely, and Shanique allowed herself to be set up. Now, Shanique wanted a reason to move Mad with Zay. I'm telling you now, don't look at it as just Madeline moving mad. Shanique wanted a reason to move mad. It's that simple. She had Zay in the bed. She wanted a reason for it to move bad. You know? We're gonna talk about Randall. Don't worry, we're gonna talk about that. That's reunion though. So we're gonna talk about that. That's reunion. I'll talk about another show. So in the end, obviously, Randall ended up proposing to Shanique, and I'll be honest with you, I was confused. Um, I didn't know why he was. I don't know why he was trying to engage with Shanique. I don't know why, because he knew he wasn't ready. He knew she wasn't ready. He knew that they weren't ready. They didn't need to propose, right? They didn't need to propose. It was unnecessary, the proposal, because in all honesty, right? In all honesty, looking at the relationship and what had happened, especially as we don't get to address it until later on reunion, knowing that your girlfriend had slept with somebody else, or at least had had sexual intimacies with someone else. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's a madness. So I'm not confused, or I'm not even gonna say I'm surprised that they got together and then broke up, because honestly, that's a madness for your partner to do what they did. Yeah. Uh, I don't think they made Shanique the bad person in the show. So sorry, they didn't, because we don't even look at we don't even look uh we don't even look at Shanique as a bad person. We just look at her in a way of your behavior was wrong. Um, your behavior was wrong. Do you know what I'm saying? So for me, I don't think Shanique's bad. I just think that she has stuff to work on. Um, you know, it is what it is. It's unfortunate. Um, I would say the same thing. It was a man. That's why I'm not rating Zay, because Zay obviously then had a thing had a thing then with Shanique, but didn't tell Ray didn't tell Ray the truth. So I look at Zay problematically as well, right? Someone said Randall was smart enough to keep his handies off camera. Yeah, but if that was the case, then Madeline would have been bragging by now, right? Madeline was annoyed at the fact that he didn't want to have sex or anything like that. So clearly he didn't do it. Right? Because if he did do it, Madeline would have been bragging from the hilltops. Literally bragging. Right? But she didn't brag about it because she never got to do it. So let's not try to equalize. We don't have to equalize. Do you know what I'm saying? We don't have to equalize at that rate, So yeah, it's one of those things where I'm looking at it and I'm like, yeah, if Madeline had did that, she would have been singing like a canary. I'm telling you, should have been singing like a canary. That girl can't keep anything down. She would have been going on a madness. So yeah, sorry. I know you want to make Randall also co-equal because Shanique is being called out, but we don't need to. We don't need to. Okay, we don't need to equalize the two. Let Shanique handle this one. She was wrong for what I can't even say she's wrong because she was in an individual relationship, but she caused her original relationship then to also have a problem as well. So problematic. Someone said, what if the baby comes out black? Well, if it comes out black, then we know that she was lying and he was lying, right? So it's a problem. It's a problem. It's a problem because if that comes out black, I will faint, bruv, with laughter. Are you dumb? If it comes out black, I will faint, bro. I will faint. If the kid comes out black, I will faint. But it's possible. It's possible. It's possible. But yeah. um, yeah. I mean, to be honest as well, we did see it on camera. We saw her hand underneath the covers. We saw him pass a tissue to her, whatever she passed. Look, whatever she did, you know, um, it's simple enough as she did something naughty, and she did it because she thought her boy was doing something naughty. Baby, it's okay. It's all right, man. It's all right. It's all good. You get me? But yeah, listen, I think that's all the couples. Uh, I think that's all the couples that we talk about, right? Colby, Shanique, Jake, April. Yeah, that's it, man. Because yeah, it's what it is as well. Like, I think overall, before we talk about reunion, maybe another time, I'm gonna do another live for reunion. I might give you guys opportunity to come up and tell us your thoughts as well. The reunion, before we get to these couples all had issues. They all had issues, all of them, and we can see why they had to give ultimatum. I think this show exposed as well the behaviors that people have, in terms of why the relationships are not working, right? Of why the relationships are still not working, and I think it's good for them to watch it and see. I want to say this as well, like, this is the first season. Season 2 and anything after that potentially is going to have actors. I'll say it again. Season 2 and everything after that will potentially have actors, and people will be acting differently. But the first season is authentic because people don't know what to expect, and oftentimes people are real. So this is a good way to kind of look at people, and kind of see, oh, okay, like this is the behaviors. This is your behaviors. This is what you guys are on. This is what you guys are doing. Okay, this is what you can improve on. This is how you can improve your relationship. You know. So yeah, it's it was good to watch this first season. We'll talk about the reunion maybe a little bit later on in the evening. I'm gonna love and leave you guys at this point. I hope you guys enjoyed this season. It's been crazy. We'll find another show to get behind. I think Love and Marriage is now DC. So listen, I couldn't really get into Love and Marriage Huntsville because I was behind by 2 or 3 seasons. But when Love and Huntsville comes out for DC, I'm gonna be on it. Okay, I'm gonna be on it. And then later on today, we'll talk a little bit more about the reunion as well. And that will be open panel, so you guys can come and share your thoughts as well. Okay, so guys, make sure you like, share, subscribe, click on that bell button. We appreciate you, and we will see what happens after the reunion. Maybe they'll give us some more news. Maybe they'll do a catch up 1 year later. Who knows? But like it, share, subscribe. Appreciate you guys. Stay locked and stay loaded. We'll see you again very, very soon. Little black, you know what time it is. Time it is. Time it is. Time